Hello and welcome back to the film Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We're in last episode, we finished up chapter 9. Today we'll be starting up the epilogue, which Professor Layton games still don't know what an epilogue is supposed to be. The first story. I don't quite know what to say. I am truly shocked to see the storyteller again, alive and well. This was unexpected by me too, as I did not plan to appear before you all again. I was convinced that you would all see the last of me at the parade. But this is the trial for your murder, and you are alive.
Yeah, see? No one was killed, so let's call this whole thing off and never have a witch trials again.
Whoa, Maya, take it easy, we're still in court, remember?
But what's the point of this? The storyteller wasn't killed. Espella would never do anything to harm her dad.
Objection.
If only it was as simple as that to end this trial. However, it is not, Miss Fay.
But, Professor...
Search your memory and you will know the reason why. The crime Miss Cantabella is accused of is not just murder. The purpose of the witch's court is to sentence the witches for what they are. Isn't that right, Mr. Storyteller? I fully intend to expose the true identity of Espella, and this would not be possible without you, Mr. Storyteller, on the witness stand. I see. And so you assumed the role of an inquisitor just to lure me here? Be that as it may, the Inquisition still maintains that Espella Cantabella is the great witch Espella.
Dad...
It's been a long time, Espella. 4 years, in fact. You must have experienced many hardships living among the townsfolk. This daughter of mine never fits in with the others, no matter how hard she tries.
No, it wasn't quite like that. There were people who supported me. Aunt Patty was very kind, and the customers who came to our bakery were nice to me.
I'm happy to hear that, he said in this disgruntled voice. I wanted to watch over you, ever since you left for the town. But in the end, I failed to do so. I had no idea of what was happening to you. Aren't you the person who writes the story? Shouldn't... Okay. I am very sorry, Espella.
Oh, Dad, you don't need to apologize to me for anything. It's me that owes you an apology. I was trying to hurt you.
It was all my fault, not yours. There's no reason for you to blame yourself.
Dad, I'm happy we got to talk.
Espella.
You were so busy writing everyone's stories that we stopped talking to each other. Before, it was different. You used to have time for me.
Please forgive me. Why did it have to come to this? Mr. Storyteller, it's time to put everything in order now. The townsfolk and your daughter deserve to know the truth. The truth about yourself and the story. Yes, I suppose it's time I told you the truth. Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Storyteller? Let us begin. In this trial, I shall be judged. Understood. The witness shall testify. People of Labyrinthia who have gathered in this court, I will now tell you the true story. Many of you will certainly find it hard to believe and difficult to accept. Buddy, we've played the 3 Professor Layton games of insanity. I think I'm ready for whatever you're about to throw at me. Nevertheless, I ask you to please lend me an ear and listen with open minds. Espella, my dear daughter, I ask you to do the same too. He said, facing the complete opposite direction of her. Since she's literally behind him right now, but, you know. Anyway, witness testimony, the truth about Labyrinthia. Although you know me as the storyteller, I have one more identity. I am the president of Labyrinth Incorporated. That's not a good way to start your testimony. I don't like where this is going. This whole town is one of Labyrinth's research facilities. Oh no. Oh no. Where are we going with this? This land is rich in a very special substance which affects everyone who lives here. This substance enables the manipulation of people's minds, and that is what Labyrinth is researching. This experiment began 10 years ago. The townsfolk all became test subjects. Okay, wait a minute. We gotta slow down. We gotta take this one step at a time. I don't understand. What does it all mean? I don't quite understand what I've just heard. I do not blame you. I suppose all the townsfolk are just as confused. Labyrinthia is an artificial town. Oh, is it now? Huh, now where have we heard that before? Oh, my favorite. The town is fake! Ooh! Oh, wow. Oh, golly gee whiz. That's... Wow, we've never seen that before, ever, in anything, ever. I don't know what you're talking about. But of course, as artificial as it may be, it is the reality for those that live here. For the past 10 years, I have been bringing the illusion to life by writing the story. I am lost for words. It feels as if the whole world has been turned on its head. Your Honor, it is certainly not an easy matter to grasp this new situation at once. Regardless, I suggest we hear more of what the witness has to say. Yes, I agree. Let's continue. The defense may begin the interrogation. Thank you, Your Honor. Oh yeah, Phoenix is here. Did you forget that? Because I almost did. Oh, good God, there's so much to dissect.
Hold it!
So you're part of a research company, huh? This is too much, I don't even know where to start. Labyrinth Incorporated, that's a name I've heard before. It is a global pharmaceutical company and with headquarters in England. If my memory serves me right, it was founded by Arthur Cantabella. Indeed, that is my true name. Were you familiar with that, Mr. Wright? Sure, yeah, I've heard of Labyrinth Incorporated, of course. Labyrinth Incorporated is known for developing a completely harmless anesthetic about 20 years ago. It is now widely used in hospitals all around the world. The company is also working on various other plant-derived sedatives, revolutionizing medicine. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised by your vast knowledge, Mr. Layton. Yeah, no one should be surprised by anything in this world anymore.
Objection!
That's irrelevant. That fact is just based on the real world we're from, not Labyrinthia. The real world, Mr. Wright? Then what would you call the world we are in right now? Do you think this is a fantasy? No, it's not quite what I meant. Mr. Wright, I do not mean to be so rude as to presume I know what thoughts are running through your head. But oh boy, would you like to! However, Labyrinthia is certainly not a place within a book or in the past. Labyrinthia is a part of the world we know. What? Okay, how do you okay, wait, so wow, this didn't take long. I can already tell I'm not gonna like this episode. This episode is off to, oh no. This is what I was dreading. This is what I've been dreading for 20 episodes now, is the moment when all the secrets come to light and Professor Layton's writers take over the script. Okay. So at the beginning of the game, we saw Maya, Phoenix, Luke, and Layton all jump into the book. They were clearly shown inside the book. They looked at it and it sucked them inside. So one of two things is true. Either you're full of shit and we are inside a book, or the book is a teleportation device that can also predict their presence, which is interesting since I thought we already established that magic doesn't exist in this world. But actually, while we're at it, if magic doesn't exist in this world, then how exactly is it that witches are able to fly? Because, okay, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense at all. Hold it, okay. So, in the last episode, we learned that magic isn't real. Everything in the Grand Grimoire isn't real. No spells are actually cast here. It's all animatronics and machinery. If that's true, then how exactly do you explain the witches that were flying around in the outside world? Because we were in... I know it's been a long time. It's been almost a month since we started this, but allow me to refresh your memory. This game started in London, with Professor Layton and Luke getting attacked in their office by a witch soaring through the air with... yeah, like, no, you're not getting around that one. I don't know, seems like magic to me, but okay. Oh. But how can a town like this exist in the real world? Do you think it's impossible? Why would that be? Are you saying that everyone would know about an unusual town like this if it existed? It's something like that. Anyway, it would be on a map at least. No, I'm afraid that cannot be so. Huh? This town is not marked on any map. It visually doesn't exist. What do you mean? The answer is quite simple. We're in Radiator Springs.
Hold it!
This whole town is a research facility? Yes, this whole area is the private property of Labyrinth Incorporated. So they own all this land then. That is why Labyrinthia is not marked on any map and people from the outside cannot enter. We have taken measures to ensure that this town is not noticed by local residents. What measures are you talking about? Consider the fact that magic is supposed to exist in this town. Perhaps special mechanisms that were used to create magic also serve to conceal Labyrinthia. There are limits to what magic the Shades are capable of producing on their own, after all. That is the case indeed. The magic in this... Also, if Layton knew all this already, then why did he dick around for an hour pretending to be a prosecutor? You could have just explained all this in your passive-aggressive way like you did in your own trilogy. Technology? Tricks? I cannot believe this. However, there is one question. There is no industry in Labyrinthia. How do you obtain necessary commodities? Very observant, aren't you? All commodities are regularly shipped in by sea. A young man once made his way here on a freighter and took Espella out of the town. That was Carmine Accidente, a friend of mine. Oh yeah, remember at the beginning of the game when our biggest concern was a name pun? Yeah, that was fun. But is something on the scale really possible? Well, if you've played the Professor Layton trilogy, you know that people are apparently capable of building entire towns inside the planet. Because, yep, that's just Professor Layton for you. As you might suspect, it would be beyond the power of Labyrinth Incorporated to keep a facility this size a secret for so long. Labyrinthia is a project co-funded by the British government. What? It's a government project?
But what would be their stake in this? Phoenix is all of us right now. It's all because of my beliefs. His beliefs. Someone start making sense.
Ah, by the way. Yes, Your Honor. What is a research facility? Yes, that was careless of me. Naturally, you wouldn't know what it means. How should I explain? This whole town is my creation. Ah, that's what it was about. In other words, it's all your story. That makes it all clear. Swing and a miss, Your Honor. Getting back to the topic. There is an important reason why we have chosen to build such a facility here. And what would that be?
Hold it!
A special substance, what does it actually do? This area has been isolated since ancient times, developing its own unique culture. There are underground ruins on the verge of the town. We've found writings there, presumably left by the natives of this land. A bell that was supposed to be there was missing. So you have seen the ruins. I suspected you would find them. But perhaps you have also noticed that everyone who lives here has a very peculiar condition. A peculiar condition, you say? I can't just sit here quietly like a patient old man when you're saying such things. Just what kind of condition is it? You have every right to know. This condition makes people fall unconscious upon the sound of a certain metal being struck. What?
So wait, are you gonna try to tell me that when the bell rings, they fall unconscious? Okay, actually, I guess, alright, I guess that one's fine. I initially thought, wait, that's a little silly, and then I thought about it for a little bit more. I'm like, okay, so I guess people can be hypnotized to that kind of stuff, so okay, I'll let that one slide. I'll let that one slide. That one makes sense, because people can be hypnotized. If they explain it with hypnosis, I will allow it, because that would actually follow through logically. If they use hypnosis to explain it, then that would make perfect logical sense.
Yeah, that's what I thought, pure silver. And so there was not a single object made of silver in Labyrinthia. Now that I think of it, that's true. I checked every object, none of them were made of silver. None of them were made of silver.
Just imagine what a disaster a fancy dinner would be if everyone fainted whenever they used silver cutlery.
This condition is an integral part of magic. How so? All inhabitants of Eldritch Woods carry small silver bells. I see now. The shades ring the bells when they need to create the illusion of magic. Everyone present falls unconscious, and the shades set to their— Okay, oh, wait a minute now, hold it, okay. So, this is the thing with the fake magic. So, this is problematic enough with the gold statue thing, but let's talk about the fire. I just, now that I'm thinking about the logistics of how this is supposed to work, okay, so now that we know they have to fall unconscious, okay. Oh, good God. So, wow, where do I even begin? The thing with the Fire Witch, how exactly would the shades know where to aim? Because, okay, I know that sounds silly at first glance, but think about it. All they knew was that, there was a witch nearby, and she was trying to attack someone. They had no way of knowing whether she wanted to attack Espella or the two robbers. No way to know that. So, but they somehow set up a trap that that would hit the exact person that Kira wanted them to hit, which is silly enough. But then we have this. So, the thing with the gold statue, you're telling me that the witch casts her spell, and then everyone falls unconscious, and then they swap out the statues, and then they would have to wake everybody back up again for them to use the other spell for the portal, and then knock everybody unconscious again? Oh, my brain. There's just no way this could possibly work. Oh, look where that shade's hand was. So that's the secret the time-stealing magic Darklord told us about. Now that they mention it. Kira had a small bell with her when we saw her back at the marketplace. We have been researching this condition at Incorporated, and finally we discovered its cause. It was the groundwater. Water causes it. The groundwater contains a certain unique substance found in the soil in this area. So if you drink that water, you get this silver allergy thing? But of course we've been drinking it. It's impossible to live without water. Of course, that's why everyone who lives here has that condition. Oh dear. You needn't worry, this condition is harmless, especially as silver is unknown to the townsfolk. Something's still not quite right. There's a lot of things that's not quite right about this. If the sound of silver bells makes people pass out, why don't the shades pass out too? Although the effect of the substance in the groundwater is powerful, it doesn't last long. The condition will vanish after a day or so without drinking that water. That's convenient. I feel like Phoenix, all of Phoenix's lines are being written by Shu Takumi, just desperately trying to be like, Pete, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing here? It can also affect plants to a great extent. Plants are affected by it. Our research is focused on the plants rather than humans. Okay.
Hold it!
That sounds really scary. What is this about?
The substance enters the groundwater, affecting organisms that consume it. People who drink it daily acquire that auto condition. They fall unconscious upon hearing the sound of silver metal. Yes, although the substance in the groundwater also has a tremendous effect on plants. Wildflowers in this area contain a certain poison. Upon my beard, poison? This poison doesn't harm the body. It has the effect of manipulating the mind.
So it brainwashes people.
I've been writing the story for 10 years. The title of the story is Historia Labyrinthia. The ink I used to write it was made from those plants.
Oh, Nick, do you remember how funny the ink smelled?
That was the gas released when the ink evaporates, and that's where the trick is.
What?
Those that inhale the gas become extremely susceptible to suggestion.
You mean brainwashing?
They will believe anything they are told or anything they read, however strange or unrealistic. It will be imprinted into their minds as the truth. So that was the true purpose of the parades.
That's literally Dr. Doofenshmirtz's scheme in an episode of Phineas and Ferb, is to type a message in a font that is a font scientifically created to make everybody believe what it says immediately. And then he's gonna distribute that message all over the Tri-State area. That's literally the plot of a Phineas and Ferb episode.
It was done so that everyone would be in a state of hypnosis.
Okay, so they do explain it with hypnosis. That's fine. That's acceptable. That makes logical sense. There's a through line to that. Okay.
The creation of a fully controlled town with the inhabitants subject to long-term hypnosis. That was one of the topics of our research.
Then the story that is written in the Historia Labyrinthia.
You could call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, realized through the shade's work and the hypnotic effect of the ink vapors. Is that how it was all this time?
Labyrinth used hypnosis to control all these people. I can't believe that the government was supporting that.
Hold it!
All the people subjected to this experiment have been living here all this time?
No, we started with just a few people, gradually getting more and more. I must say that I'm afraid of what the answer to this question might be, but where did these people come from? You haven't resorted to abduction by any chance, have you? Of course not. Every test subject signed a contract with Labyrinth.
A contract to have their memories erased and be used in like pawns in a story?
The current inhabitants of this town have one thing in common. They were all dissatisfied with their lives and wanted to start anew.
Yeah, so let's move to a town where witches are prosecuted and burned alive as witches, and almost everyone gets confused with being a witch there. Great.
There are more people that are like that out there than you may think. They have all agreed to participate in our research.
But that's insane.
It's not as unreasonable as you suggest. We give them a new identity, a chance to start their life again.
I smell the Matrix.
In return, they subject themselves to hypnosis and live in this town as our test subjects. In order for this project to be possible, we suppress their memories of the past, including the memory of signing the contract. So ultimately, they are not aware of what is going on. I couldn't agree more. I've got no idea what's going on. Let me make this clear, Mr. Wright. We do not erase their memories, we suppress them. They will regain their memories of life before Labyrinthia once their contract is over.
So this place was uninhabited before you started this research 10 years ago?
And you've managed to keep everyone in a state of hypnosis for 10 years straight?
Can you really hypnotize someone for that long? I mean, 10 years is one heck of a long time.
It was achieved through the distribution of the story during parades. The ink vapors have a powerful effect, but it wouldn't last 10 years, of course. With each parade, the effect was renewed. That's why the parades took place in regular intervals.
Okay, see, this all follows. Like, this actually makes sense. You know, because people sign up, they come here as a way to start over or whatever, and they keep them hypnotized by continually dishing out the ink vapor. That all follows. The part where you lost me is how the hell can everything involving the shades and the whole magic isn't real thing, that can't possibly, it unironically would have made more sense if they kept using magic, because at least that can be explained. But what they've chosen to do, oh. I guess we'll have to see how this turns out.
I have been born and raised here. It was a poor, small town with no industry to speak of, and that had fallen behind the times. Ever since I was a child, I had one friend that was especially close to me. He was a bright boy, curious about the world. His name was Newton Belduke. Sir Newton Belduke. The alchemist!
So they were childhood friends. The plot thickens.
He had always been interested in the unique natural features of this land. There was really nothing here, but to us this area was an exciting place worth exploring. And when one day we made an astonishing discovery on the outskirts of the town. We stumbled upon the entrance to the underground cavern leading to the colossal ruins.
Whoa, look at that, Newton. This is so amazing. And this strange writing, I've never seen anything like it before.
We found ancient writings in the ruins. Newton managed to decode some of them. According to our findings, a highly advanced culture had existed on the land where our little town was built. Some great calamity had befallen the natives and they migrated elsewhere. They believed the plants and water in the area were cursed by an entity they called the Great Witch Espella. The natives sealed the curse within the ruins and left in search of a new home. That is all we managed to decipher. Espella's curse. It was sealed in the ruins, you say. Would that be the Bell of Ruin? The Bell of Ruin.
Oh, that's the bell from the bell tower. I wonder why it's got an ominous name like that.
Regrettably, we couldn't get any further information from the writings at that time. Needless to say, Newton and I were very excited by the discovery.
I knew it. This place is special. It has some kind of mysterious power. If we could find out what that is, our humble town would become famous. You know what? I'm going to do that. I will unravel the mystery of this place.
And so Newton began studying the indigenous plants and substances dissolved in the groundwater. On the other hand, I studied economics and management at a university in London. I dreamed of bringing prosperity to this poor, forgotten town. I wanted to change it for the better with my own hands. Meanwhile, Newton had succeeded at extracting a new anesthetic from the local plants. Was that the anesthetic which led to the foundation of Labulum? Yes, it was a huge success for Labulum Incorporated, and before we knew it, we were making a fortune. We wanted the whole world to hear about our hometown. Alas, fate was not kind to us as we never realized that dream. Everyone in our town had died. All the townspeople perished. Huh? Just what on earth happened to them? Take a guess, Your Honor. What tragic event were we talking about earlier that wiped everybody out? That does not matter anymore. We purchased the environs of our town. The mountains, the lake, the plains, everything. Then, 10 years ago, having received financial support from the government, we started Project Labyrinthia. It was much smaller in the beginning. It started as no more than a curious village. Over the course of 10 years, it slowly grew into a town. The population increased as well. More people were signing into the contract with Labulum, slowly increasing the number of inhabitants, correct? Yes, they would sign the contract to be hypnotized and assigned a role, and then be introduced to the world of the story. I have spoken at length. Thank you for patiently listening to my tale. Espella, believe it or not, crazy town where people come to start over is not the most ridiculous Professor Layton story I've ever had. This one's actually kind of grounded. This one that part of it makes sense. But then we start thinking about everything else, and sense stops being a presence. Or sense stops having a presence in this game. Espella is the name of a witch from an ancient legend that we read about in the ruins. It is a fictional character. She does not exist. But then, magic and witches. Magic is just an illusion, and there are no witches.
Alright, so it was all fake. That doesn't make it much better. Why did you write a story where people get killed with magic and witches are thrown into the fire? You could have made it a peaceful, pleasant world where everyone would be happy.
No, that was not possible.
But why?
This is a research facility, after all. We're researching ways to completely control human beings. Test subjects need to be exposed to extreme situations, so we decided on a fantasy setting. We wouldn't have got funding from the government otherwise. In other words, we're running a business. But just what instructions do you give to the people you hypnotize? You don't give each of them a full set of memories of their whole fictional life, do you? So, wait, you're saying you can't control people's minds unless they're in a life or death situation? That doesn't... Why would that... What? The first one that they were born in this town, and the second was a new occupation. Then they fill in the gaps themselves, without being aware of it. The human mind requires a consistent story of one's life. Which means, of course, that no Labyrinthian has memories from earlier than 10 years ago. No one has any memories from before they came to Labyrinthia. What are you saying? As you can hear, no one can remember their real past. There are no exceptions. Huh?
Wait a second. No exceptions. I smell a contradiction here. Yeah, because Espella can remember the legendary fire. It seems Mr. Wright too has noticed it now. What are you talking about, Layton? Mr. Cantabella, you have just testified that not a single citizen of this town remembers anything more than 10 years ago. Yes, that is the truth. Now, that's a strange assertion, especially coming from you. What? What do you mean? There is one person in this town who remembers what happened more than 10 years ago. That cannot be. It is impossible. They must be merely imagining things now. Mr. White, please enlighten us all. Who is this person who remembers their past? It's Espella Cantabella.
Take that!
Precisely, Mr. White. That person is none other than Espella Cantabella. What? That's impossible.
It's true, Dad. I remember it clearly as if it happened yesterday. The legendary fire.
No, that's impossible. That's just your imagination, Espella.
No, it's not. I couldn't remember it before, but it all came back to me. Because I'm Bezella.
No, Espella. There are no witches. That fire is just a bad dream. The Inquisition would like to call Espella Cantabella to testify. What? Regardless of whether Miss Cantabella is Bezella or not. Her memories may contain vital or valuable clues. Yes, that may be so. No, wait. I don't agree to this. This trial is over, Your Honor.
Objection.
You seem to be forgetting something, Mr. Cantabella. Your story has ended. You are no longer in control. You are merely one of the characters, and this is also why we will not cease seeking the truth until we find it. Defense. Espella keeps insisting that she's the witch Bezella. As her attorney, I should refuse to let her speak to the court. But what's really important now is finding the truth, just as Layton said. There's only one way to proceed with this trial, and that's by questioning Miss Cantabella about her memories. In that case, the court summons Espella Cantabella as a witness. Attendants, bring the accused to the witness stand. Okay, here we go. She's gonna be at the witness stand once again. Hello. Long time no see and all that. Now, witness. Testify about your memories of the legendary fire.
Yes, my lord.
The legendary fire.
I was just a little girl then. It happened during the annual fire festival. Everyone was gathered in the town square for the fire festival, and I was watching them from the bell tower. The great witch Bezella awoke within me and brought calamity upon the town. An enormous fire dragon appeared. I was trembling with fear by what I had summoned.
Okay, I'm gonna need some more specifics on those things. Witness, what you have told us wasn't a bad dream or a fairy tale, but what you actually experienced?
Yes, it was. Like I have already said. I remember it very clearly. The heat from the fire, the smell of the smoke.
Espella, what are you talking about? The defense may cross-examine the witness. Thank you, Your Honor. Was there really a huge fire that destroyed the town? And what about Bezella? Is she even real? The answers are in Espella's testimony. By the way, it seems like we're not gonna actually go down the route of the cat is the Great Witch secretly, but let's be perfectly clear here. It was totally possible for that to have been the case for quite a while there. Anyway, tell me more about the dragon you claim you saw.
Hold it!
Can you tell me more about the fire dragon?
The monstrous image is still so vivid. It looked just like the one that attacked Dad this evening. I've done something terrible again.
Then you are sure that the fire dragon you saw more than 10 years ago and the one summoned this evening were exactly the same?
Yes, they were definitely the same.
Are you sure about that?
Hang on!
Is something wrong, Mr. Cantabella? It's impossible. There's no such thing as magic.
You never believe me, Dad. I don't know why you have to be like this. There was a time when things were different.
Espella, what are you saying?
Look at them. It's like a common argument between a teenager and a parent. Dad, you always get like this. Oh my god.
Mr. Cantabella created this town. He knows better than anyone else that there's no magic here. Somehow. Miss Cantabella,
Yes?
would you mind giving us more details of what you saw?
Could I borrow a sheet of parchment and a pencil? I think it'll be better if I...
Okay, Larry Butts. Back at it again. Your request shall be granted. Bring parchment and a pencil for the witness immediately. Okay.
This is it. This is the fire dragon I saw that night. I only caught a glimpse of it, but it was real.
I must say, it does closely resemble the supposedly magical creature we witnessed this evening.
It does indeed. This drawing shall be added to the evidence. This is a farce.
What happened over a decade ago? Was the town really destroyed by a fire dragon?
Discovering the truth about the dragon shall be our next objective. Witness, continue the testimony.
Yes, my lord.
Okay. I still need more details. Tell me about the witch.
Hold it!
Do you remember her casting a spell?
I cannot remember.
Oh, wait, but someone does.
Hang on!
You look upset, Mr. Cantabella.
Ah, pardon me, did you want something?
I'd like to know what you think about Espella's last statement.
Listen to me, Espella. You are not Espella. That was the legendary fire.
Dad, you have no idea how much I want to believe you, but I just can't. I remember what I saw and how it felt. The heat, the smoke.
Magic doesn't exist. It belongs in fairy tales. There are no fire dragons either. Espella seems certain that she saw a fire dragon at that time. However, as long as we do not have any evidence to support or disprove this claim, we can't make any progress.
Well, I mean, if we count sketches if we count Espella's artwork as evidence, as if it were a Larry Butts drawing, then technically we do have evidence. Your Honor.
What is it, Defender?
The defense will present evidence.
Evidence? I suppose you mean evidence that will prove that my daughter's memories of the dragon amount to nothing more than wild imagination?
On the contrary, I'm pretty positive Espella did see the dragon.
What? I thought you had more sense in you. Well, well. Aren't we all curious about what the defense has got to show us? Present evidence that proves...
Okay, it's Espella's sketch.
Take that!
If we take it for as truth, like we do with Larry's drawings, then yeah. It is, of course, Espella's drawing of the dragon. It's impossible to draw a dragon with so much detail unless you've actually seen it. Well, I mean, she could just be a talented artist, but...
Indeed. And it looks very much like the fire dragon we saw this evening. It cannot be a mere coincidence. You can't possibly use the drawing as evidence.
Oh, buddy. Let me tell you how things work around Ace Attorney.
And why not? Because she could have just drawn the dragon from this evening.
Dad, why don't you believe me? I saw a dragon when I was little.
This town is my creation, and I know everything about it. I assure you there's no magic. If there's anyone who can tell you what's possible and what is not, it is me, the creator of Labyrinthia. Your overconfidence has clouded your judgment and is preventing you from seeing the truth. What do you mean? In order to see what is really there, you need to reject biased assumptions and keep an open mind. You are overlooking certain facts precisely because you are the creator of this town. It's nothing short of insanity. Magic doesn't exist, and yet Espella says she saw a fire dragon. It seems like a contradiction, but perhaps it is not. Mr. Wright, yes? The solution to this mystery is out there. We just need to find it. Do you suppose you know where it is? Magic doesn't exist. Espella saw a fire dragon. Where is the evidence that bridges the gap between these two?
Well, so... The storyteller said that everyone in the town died years ago, so I'm guessing that something... after that happened, he did something about the magic, so it's gotta have to do with the town itself. Espella was watching the town burn at that time. She says you saw an enormous fire dragon. Now, if you put the two together, I think our best guess is that the dragon she saw was this town itself.
This town? In other words, Espella saw a dragon shape blooming over the burning town. How absurd, that's mere speculation. I will not dispute that, however, it is entirely possible to test our theory. What? And how do you go about doing that? It is all quite simple, Mr. Storyteller. We will now go to the belfry. Maybe we'll find that fire dragon there.
Are you insinuating that the shape of the town, like if you draw the town's outline on a map, it looks like a dragon?
Over 10 years ago, the witness was standing somewhere around here when she saw a fire dragon, am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Layton.
However, what was it that you actually saw then? Let us see if we can find the answer to that question. Why not? Go ahead and try, but I've warned you that it's futile.
Well, it happened a long time ago. Whatever she saw might not be there anymore. And if we want to see exactly what she saw at the time, we'll need to set the whole town on fire. Want me to go get matches?
I may be an attorney, but even I couldn't clear you of the charges if you actually committed such a crime, Maya.
I will pretend I did not hear that. Shall we begin?
Okay, So wait,
let us look for the fire dragon. We can see the whole town from here. Look in every direction for something that would resemble Miss Cantabella's drawing.
You can't be serious. You can't possibly be serious. You can't see anything up here. It's gonna be in the fence. It's gonna be in the goddamn fence.
Take that!
Are we really going this route? Oh, okay, so she looked through the fence and thought, ooh, okay, wow,
Oh, this is... Hey! That's identical to the one Espella drew! But it's not the fire dragon. The fire dragon was a creature made of flames. It was so big it could swallow the whole tower. It's just some tiny fretwork. I think what it's gonna say is like, oh, you looked through the frame and you thought the town was on fire or whatever.
I think we can consider this mystery solved. I suggest we all head back to the court. I will explain everything there. Is that alright with you, Mr. Cantabella?
What's gone into Mr. Cantabella? It looks like he looks paler than you do with a cold.
I have no idea. Let's follow the others back to the courtroom. Oh dear. Oh, this could end poorly. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
The Inquisition's investigation seems to have yielded some unexpected results, but can someone explain them to me? You all know the Inquisition will interpret the results of this investigation. Witness, you said you were about 6 years old at the time of the incident.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you see the moment the dragon appeared above the town?
No, I don't remember. I remember seeing it at some point. It was like a flash.
Yep, that's like what happened. She thought she saw the dragon because she looked through the fence and it matched that she saw through the outline and the town was on fire. Okay. Oh boy.
And when you noticed the dragon, the town was already engulfed by flames?
Yes.
That information completes the picture. Miss Cantabella's statement has offered me an insight into the true story of the fire dragon. Over 10 years ago, Miss Cantabella was in the belfry unconscious. What events led to this? Perhaps people discovered that in due course. When she awoke, the whole town was on fire. Having inhaled much smoke, she was still dazed. She was only vaguely aware of her surroundings when she looked up, alarmed by the scorching heat. Unable to stand, she was on her knees, and then she saw something she would remember her whole life. She saw a terrifying fire dragon attacking the town. She saw it through the fretwork in the balustrade. Wow. Yikes, that's... Even if you're 6 years old, you should be able to... I wouldn't say, like, it's reasonable to believe that she would initially think, hey, is that a dragon? But then, once she moves her head even a little bit, she would be able to realize, oh wait, it's actually not. Oh wow. And then when she stands up, she should see the dragon isn't going anywhere because it's still on the fence. Oh boy. Okay, That is what I have deduced. Yikes.
It wasn't a monster?
Miss Cantabella, the illustration you have drawn for us bears an uncanny resemblance to the fretwork in the belfry. You saw the dragon when you were confused, possibly mildly asphyxiated from the smoke. There was no magic and no magical beast. You believe a stranger but not your father. That's so typical of teenagers. You should listen to me. And now that all the mysteries have been unraveled, can we not end this trial and go home?
Objection.
As much as we'd all like to, I'm afraid it's still a bit too early for that. What else do you want from us? There is just one more problem I'd like to solve tonight. One more? What on earth could it be? Miss Cantabella, we ascertained that you were in the belfry when you saw the dragon. However, that creates a new question. How did you get there?
Oh, I haven't thought of that.
Yeah, neither have I. Oh! As expected of an ace attorney, Mr. Wright seems to have noticed the problem to it. Whoa, yikes! Oh, back at it again! At last, you finally noticed the problem, my god. In order to access the belfry, you need to use the bell tower mechanism. The mechanism can only be set in motion with the pendants. Indeed. Miss Cantabella, did you have your pendant with you at the time?
Yes, I think I did. I always had it with me. But why did I have that pendant? I can't remember it at all.
This pendant is not just for show, it's the key to the belfry. Why was she carrying it around? You must also not forget that one pendant does not suffice to operate the contraption. 2 of them are required.
2 pendants?
Miss Cantabella, are you certain that you were alone in the belfry?
No, I wasn't alone. I was there with a friend.
Your friend or your sister? What friend? This freaking cat.
Eve, where'd you go off to?
The friend you mentioned, was it this cat?
Yes,
It was not the cat. It was not the cat. Darklaw was there with you too.
we've always been together. Without Eve, I would have been so lonely. That kitty's always appearing out of nowhere to keep Espella company. Of course she does. After all, Bezella's always accompanied by a black cat.
What you saw from the bell tower when you were little was so terrifying that even an adult would have been scarred for life. The town burned in front of your eyes. Well, no, because an adult would not have thought to themselves, well, even a kid wouldn't have thought to themselves, but especially an adult would not have thought to themselves, oh wow, a dragon, yikes. You see, your memories have been twisted by the horrors you saw.
What do you mean?
The dragon you saw wasn't real, and I suspect that the friend who was with you in the bell tower might not have been that cat.
No, it was her. It was Eve, my only friend.
But, Miss Cantabella, the pendant needed to access the Belfry is too large for a cat. Are you following? If Eve was with you, it would have been impossible for you to enter the Belfry.
Ah!
Wait. Inquisitor, where is all this going? You have no right to tamper with my daughter's memories. That's funny, coming from the person who literally tampers with everybody's memories. You are right, of course. However, neither do you. Nor should you attempt to cover up the truth. Ah.
No, you're wrong. Eve is my only friend.
Think about that day again, Miss Cantabella. You went to— Has Phoenix said anything of worth in, like, this whole episode? I don't think he has. I feel like this has all been Layton. Well then, why don't we have the defense present some— Oh, now Phoenix gets to do something. Yes, I can prove it. I can absolutely prove it, because we have a picture of I'm assuming sisters. Maybe they're just close friends, who knows. I think they're probably sisters. With both of them have a pendant. She needed the other pendant to get to the top. And so she must have been out there with her. I suppose you wouldn't have any proof. Not one of us remembers the incident. Yeah, but Layton has the picture. I've had enough of this, Your Honor. You have no grounds to continue this trial. Well, we appear to have reached a dead end. There is nothing else for us to do.
Objection.
Please hold on, Your Honor. Oh, what is this all of a sudden, Inquisitor Layton? The defense does not have the necessary evidence, but someone else does. What do you mean? This time the Inquisition will present its evidence. Great. This is Phoenix Becomes Obsolete, the game. Well, great.
Have a look.
There's your evidence. Oh, have a look, okay. So are we just playing as Layton now? Is that what we're doing? This photograph shows Miss Cantabella with a friend. Golly, this is the finest illustration I've ever seen. It's a photograph. It looks as if it were a reflection of the real world on paper. Tell me, who created this exquisite work of art? Well, Your Honor, I understand you are fascinated, but let us focus on what this picture shows. This picture was found in the Storyteller's Tower. Mr. Cantabella, we have taken the liberty of borrowing it for this trial. It's enough to look away for a second and you already caused trouble.
Professor? Aren't photographs against the rules? I mean, it's supposed to be a medieval setting.
Nah, who cares? I feel like that's the point where Shu Takumi just gave up. She's just like, whatever. I've lost control of the story, just let the Professor Layton writers dig this into the ground. What's important now is helping Miss Cantabella to grasp the truth. And in this case, the end justifies the means. Oh no, not the end justifies the means.
The end justifies the means.
Please take a close look at the two girls in this picture. Each of them is wearing a pendant. Why, that's so. These are the Belfry contraption pendants. We know that one of these girls is Miss Cantabella. But then, who is the other girl? Accused, do you have any idea? Espella, are you okay?
It doesn't look like she is. It's me. And the other girl is, I don't know. Ah!
Espella! Your Honor, stop this trial. You, for someone who claims to care a lot about his daughter, you really didn't show up for these past 10 years. Can't you see you're driving Espella into insanity?
Objection.
Wow, Phoenix is just useless. It's just the opposite, Mr. Cantabella. If we turn away from the truth now, Espella will close herself to the world forever. Mr. Wright. Yes? You know who it is, don't you? You know the identity of the other girl in this picture. Yeah, I knew from the moment we saw the picture in the first place. Is that so? If the defense knows that, tell us all who this other girl is. It's obviously Darklaw.
Take that!
If I'm thinking it's High Inquisitor Darklaw, and if you want proof of that, we do still have the pendant that was ripped off her neck from the last time we had this trial. High Inquisitor Darklaw? I cannot say I didn't have slight suspicions about her, but oh my. Miss Cantabella, what do you say? Do you now remember this girl next to you in the picture?
I was with Lady Darklaw.
This is crazy. What are you basing this preposterous claim on? But, Mr. Cantabella, this girl closely resembles the High Inquisitor. Resembles? That's just your Oh, good God.
Objection.
If you want evidence, I've got it. What? The definitive proof the girl in the picture's High Inquisitor Dark Law is the pendant itself.
Take that!
And this is the proof it was the High Inquisitor. The pendant needed for that contraption is the bell tower. I have Miss Darklaw's testimony here. She said this pendant was hers. And so, the other girl in the picture is definitely Miss Darklaw.
Is it really?
Okay, goodbye. Bye, cat.
Eve, where are you going?
What? Wait, what? When did you get here? I was expecting you, Miss Darklaw.
I see I was not mistaken about you. I trust in your ability to get this far.
High Inquisitor Darklaw, where did you just appear from?
Does your memory not serve you well, Your Honor? You know what I am. I can disappear at will anytime I wish to. So, storyteller, everything has worked out just as you had written. Oh, revered creator of Labyrinthia.
Darklaw.
Lady Darklaw.
Okay. Miss Darklaw, did you enter the Belfry with Miss Cantabella when you were little?
Yes, I did.
Then you have memories of events from before 10 years ago.
I certainly do.
Like, okay, so, to be clear, there have been times in previous Ace Attorney games where the defense and prosecution have been working together. The ones that immediately jump to my mind, Rise from the Ashes, Feral Night Turnabout, you know, things like that, where Phoenix and Edgewood have had to work together to arrive at the truth. That has happened before, and that works great because those two actually bounce off each other's chemistry, and they work well together as a team, and you can tell that it's not just one-sided, they both have to pull their strengths to arrive at the truth. This is just the Layton show. Like, Phoenix is useless. It's like the inverse of Turnabout Trump from Apollo Just State's Attorney, where Apollo just sits there and does nothing while Phoenix and Kristoff do all the work.
Your memories have been suppressed.
By that man.
But I was with Eve. Eve, huh? Eve the Black Cat. Yes, she's always been my dear friend. She was by my side on that day, too. What a bizarre coincidence. Darklaw isn't my real name.
What? Then what is your real name?
It's Come again, game? Come again? What was that? You are Eve? Ah!
What? What? So is the... Wait.
It can't be that flashback. Was it real?
Darklaw, why are you doing this? Are you trying to undo everything I have accomplished these past 10 years? Wait, so she named the cat... So they both have the same name? Okay. Okay. What is it that you want?
What I want? My aim is to make the truth known so that everything returns to how it should be.
Miss Darklaw, will you tell us what you remember about what happened back then more than 10 years ago?
It would be my pleasure. It was the day of the fire festival. Espella and I went up the bell tower. The wind was strong that day. When the sun had set, the festival began. It's true that the whole town burned down that day. The fire consumed buildings and people, turning them into ashes. We were the only survivors. We stayed in the belfry while the world below us was being eaten up by hungry flames. The legendary fire is no fable. It happened here more than 10 years ago.
Objection!
There are no such things as magic and fire dragons. How could a whole town be destroyed in just one night? Yes, that's something I'd like to know as well. Even if we assume the celebratory fires got out of control, surely the whole town wouldn't have perished like that, unless someone doused the entire town in freaking kerosene. That was the missing piece of this puzzle. Oh great, here's Layton here to save the day again. What do you mean, Professor? I can imagine now what transpired that night. What happened in the belfry and what caused the legendary fire. We have all the clues we need. If the Inquisition has evidence to show us, I very much like to see it. What caused legendary fire? I mean, logic would dictate that the Bell of Ruin would be what caused it, but I don't know how that's the case.
Have a look.
Like, I get that from a storytelling perspective, it has to be the bell, but why? The cause of the fire was in the belfry. It was the bell? That bell had been made by the natives and later sealed on the ground. It was called the Bell of Ruin.
Bell of Ruin?
By the way, why does this bell have such an ominous name? Could it be because it's made of pure silver? Pure silver? Exactly. Mr. Cantabella has told us earlier. And that metal is pure silver. Yes, and we've been told the condition is brought about by drinking the groundwater. Indeed. That bell was also the reason why the original inhabitants of this area decided to forsake it. It seems that the Bell of Ruin caused a devastating disaster. To those who have gained entry into the sanctum, heed our words. You must not ring the Bell of Ruin. Okay, but how did the Bell of Ruin cause the entire town to get set on fire? I can't help but wonder what disaster this bell had caused. An enormous bell made of pure silver, and the locals with their peculiar condition. It's not too hard to imagine what happened. It was probably the same calamity as the one that happened over 10 years ago. And that is, well, what disaster happened to this town before Labyrinthia was built? Ah! The legendary fire? Now, let us contemplate the following scenario. What would happen if the Bell of Ruin was sounded during the fire festival? Oh. Everyone who heard it would fall unconscious. As it was an annual festival, all the townspeople were assembled in the town square. Oh dear. Therefore, on the night of the fire festival over 10 years ago, all the residents instantly lost consciousness while the bell struck. Oh no. Had it been even just slightly windy that day, the fires lit for the Great Witch Espella would have gone out of control, and they would have spread throughout the town with no one left to stop them. Because everyone was unconscious, exactly. That also includes the two girls who were in the bell fry. Espella and I. You were the closest to the source of the sound, so it was inevitable. When you recovered consciousness, it was already too late. The town had been swallowed by flames as if a fire dragon had come to burn it. Okay. Calamity. You say here that the cause of calamity is the Great Witch Espella. That night in this very town, Espella was more than a mythical persona.
Espella. She's losing it again. The Bell of Ruin. Espella!
Okay. Wow. So they rang the bell, and I guess that caused the... Okay. Alright, this game is something else. That'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time to catch you all tomorrow for some more Professor Layton versus Phoenix for Ace Attorney. Goodbye.